the Mexican cartel. In that case, you could savor an enemy from that, and sure. So you do have an interesting argument.
Okay, but let me address Dean's ambiguity. Let me address his ambiguity point. Where it's the reason it's let me hold on for a minute. I was after A. I've been patient. So the reason, Dean, it's the ambiguity is because it doesn't mention black folks when everybody understands that the million-pound elephant in the room at that time when America was being established. You mentioned everybody else, the natives and mentioned everybody, except for this group of people that were slaves over here. They're not even talked about at all. So that was an underlying thing, like, okay, well, slavery and Kansas, and you understand, all kind of stuff was debating on whether they're going to continue slavery as they were expanding these states. So it was this elephant in the room that had to be addressed is, what are we going to do with these black slaves? And so the idea of the 14th Amendment, by the time that kicks in, is way down the road. So there was ideas already that 1790, the Naturalization Act, how do you become a citizen in the United States of America? 1776, by the way, is when, the country officially, 4th of July is coming up, and things kind of crystallized by 1776. A lot happened before that, of course. But by the time you get to 1790, now you start addressing the Constitution in America starts to address Naturalization Act. 2 years if you're white, and everybody else ain't even in the conversation. If you're white, 2 years, good character, we'll let you be a part of this thing called America. Meanwhile, you got all these slaves running around here and their property. So there's that whole reality. So the 14th Amendment addresses that, where Donald Trump is accurate about that's what this was about, because he's addressing how it's totally off the rails over in 2020. And so he's trying to bring it back to, and I love what AI brought up about the 1790 piece. Because, so the ambiguity, everybody's riding what happened in the 14th, I say everybody, all these other non-whites now are riding what happened in the 14th Amendment, and it's just kind of like, oh shit, if these slaves, I got better status than them, I'm coming over, I'm good character, and that's what has never been addressed. So I love what AI brought up. That's the ambiguity, because the reality is these so-called Negro slaves, that what 14th Amendment was saying, okay, if you're born here, that was addressing him, and they didn't want to put that straight out language in there about the slaves and black, they put all persons, and here's what, now you understand where the ambiguity came from.
Hold on. That's lunacy. That's lunacy, and I'll tell you why.
That's lunacy to you. Go ahead.
Something can be intended for, but not exclusive to. According to this logic, citizenship, sort of the requirements of citizenship, would vanquish post the proclamation. Well, let me finish. Again, if we look at
You've spoken a lot.
Hold on, ma'am. Sober up. The verbiage is quite clear.
Who the fuck you talking to? Don't talk to her like that, bro.
Luke, respectfully.
Not sober up. Who we talking to?
Sober up.
I'm clear.
Hold on, and that's my people, bro. Don't disrespect her like that. I'll violate your punk ass.
The verbiage is quite clear. There's three qualifications that render you ineligible. It stipulates what it stipulates. If we take AI's logic, cool, for deportation or whatever concerning undocumented migrants, the Trump administration is free to make that case. By them coming into this country, they are a quote-unquote hostile foreign actor, and in turn, they are not eligible. Their child is not eligible for citizenship. They're free to make that legal argument. If that's the best you got.
Actually, I was about to give you an update.
So they're free to make that argument, and that could be adjudicated. So even still manning that point, there's no need to tamper with the 14th Amendment. Of course.
So what's crazy, I don't know if you know, Dean, but just yesterday, the DOJ just upgraded something for deportation. I don't know the official terminology, but any immigrant convicted of a felony or a crime can be deported. So yes, and it's kind of crazy. And the reason why I asked CEO that question about the ambiguity is because I'm actually glad that you said that. Is because
ambiguity.
Thank you for the clarification. Every time I want to say it, I'll point to you.
You're
Snap my
welcome.
fingers I snap my fingers and I need you to say it.
Well, they
Let's
already
try it.
think black people are dumb. Can we at least learn how to pronounce?
Well, you hear the
Is
couple
that
voices.
You're not
racist?
looking for white women.
Words are racist now, just like
But
numbers.
you hear the cover for us, Nikki.
No, you're welcome.
Nikki, hold on. You're here to cover for us to make us look brilliant. All right, look. So the thing is this: to say if somebody's hostile or not when they come into this country illegally, well, only God knows what's in their heart. So you mean to tell me somebody can come into this country under the guise of, hey, I'm not hostile, and I have a baby, even though I'm here illegally, I'm not hostile, so the baby's an American citizen. But if I'm hostile, then my baby is illegal. It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta make it make sense. Because now we're talking about based on hostility. If they're a citizen or not, it seems like we're picking and choosing.
Yeah, so
Lou, can you tell this raging lesbian Sarah that I do not bump coochies, I'm strictly dickly? Because she's fucking obsessed. I don't want you, girl. You're ugly anyway. Oh. Sorry, guys. Carry on.
Somebody put, oh Lord, oh my Lord, in the chat.
She's fucking weird, bro. First she wanted to be my friend and she told me she loved me and shit. Like, you crackhead ass motherfucker. I don't want you, girl. Yeah, run, Sarah. I stay locked and loaded. Stalking ass.
So
Trying to waver into a private.
AI. So AI, real quick.
I don't want that ugly asshole. Somebody cash out her so she can suck a dick real quick and get the fuck off.
Auntie Mickey.
Hey, boo.
Okay. AI. So there was a man named Michael Walsh who both had Irish immigrant parents, born in 1810, and he was considered an American citizen. So this is after the Naturalization Acts that you're talking about, and before the 14th Amendment. Both parents were foreigners. He was born in the U.S. He was considered a citizen. So this really could not get any clearer. This practice was done before the 14th Amendment. It was spelled out clearly in the 14th Amendment. It was adjudicated in 1898. It was adjudicated again in 1982 and 1985. What is the ambiguity?
CEO, how long had he been here? Had he been here for
He got born. No, he got born. When he was born, he was considered a citizen.
No. This is a great convo. Y'all just broke a rule in IGB. I opened the room, bro. Y'all just moved people out the room. We had 2 mods. Me and my nigga Kurt. I'll be good.
Who did it?
They ain't gonna make it to
I own up to all my shit. When I fuck up, I own up to it. That wasn't me.
You own up to everything?
They need to ratify the National Naturalization Act and tell them everybody you don't have to just be white anymore because they never ratified that.
I bet it was a first gen that did it. Hating ass.
Yeah. I owns up to it when I do stuff, so that wasn't
You
me.
actually do, Ties. Shout out to you for doing that. Because most of these people lie to themselves in their sleep. So,
Well, I don't think women own up to everything because y'all lie about how many bodies y'all got. But look,
Oh my
anyway.
God.
Your mama also lied to you and told you she loved you,
Whoa,
Daddy. So
leave my innocent mother out
your
of this.
mother not a
chaotic.
woman or what?
No, my mother's trans.
Well, you just said that when. Oh,
Hold
so
on, wait.
What's your grandmother? What's your grandmother?
I was born to 2 illegal trans. My mom was trans and my dad was
So
trans.
which
They came to
one-
the country illegally.
your mom
Hold on.
figure or your dad
Hold
figure
on.
had the dildo fucking the shit out of the other one?
Hold on. We ain't doing the crash. Everybody click the link at the top. Because y'all literally moved 4 people from there. Y'all doing too much. The room just started. Y'all niggas on spirit.
Lou, I got a question though, really quick. If 2 trans people come into this
He left.
damn. So this is the question for the room. If 2 trans come into the country illegally, right? And they have a baby. Is the baby is he born to 2 mothers or 2 fathers or a mother and a father?
Curtis, how many times you gonna ask this question?
Answer it. Since we like to do it like little ambiguity, right? Let's figure that out. That's some homework for y'all.
Yay, you
Right.
pronounced it properly. Good job, Kurt.
Thank you. You need to wave Sarah into a private. You need to wave Sarah into a private and squash it.
Oh, what the fuck? I'm so mad we fucking did the replays last night. We was chopping up with this dude. And anyways,
Now you remember you turned off the replays on purpose. Remember?
I don't know why I did that.
Because you're a nice person.
It was because of that Michael Jackson shit.
When they did the title change, that shit was diabolical, bro.